Self-discipline is all about you doing what is right or sensible without anybody having to tell you to do it. Well, we'll be finding that out today. My name is Timmy Wright and you're watching the Chat Zone on youth.com. To discuss this very sensible topic with me, I have Mr. Michael Lawrence, who is a comedian, Harriet on my left, an in-house person, and Thelma, also in-house, and producer So Sick. Many of you that know Dagreen, he was one of those producers that really did a lot of Dagreen stuff. That was great work, by the way. So now back to discipline. Let's start with Michael Lawrence. How would you explain the whole concept of, or the idea of self-discipline?
Just like you rightly said, self-discipline is supposed to be what we're supposed to kind of engage ourselves in without being forced to do it, doing the right thing, like you said, without being told. But to a large extent, I think the generation where we find ourselves right now, there's a whole bunch of indiscipline going on amongst young people. And one way or the other, I think it's something we need to come back to. If not, there's going to be so many wrong things going on very soon. Already, things are going wrong as a result of lack of self-discipline.
Okay, so
I can imagine how the future
will be like. Yeah. So, Harriet, perhaps there's a profound or basic thing that we're not aware of that might be causing this lack of discipline amongst Nigerians.
Well, okay, let me just say it's the environment. Yeah, because we Nigerians have this lazy.
How's the environment responsible?
That's what I'm saying. We have this like a dastical attitude about everything. Do you understand? We want things to go easy. So it really tells on our discipline because we just want to follow the trend. We just want to do what this next person is doing. We just want to go like that and keep going. So in a lot of cases, we end up derailing from the right things to do. We end up being indisciplined about, everything.
Okay. She said that we end up being disciplined about, what is right and what is wrong. Now,
indiscipline.
Being indisciplined, yeah. So how do you really know when this thing is right and this thing is not? You talk about habits, you talk about addictions, you talk about doing what is wrong, and then you're self-disciplined because you're not doing what is right. So how do you identify this is wrong, that is right?
Okay, every individual lies the power of thought, intuition, the ability for you to take your own decisions.
Okay.
And I believe that, every youth has come of age to know what is right or wrong.
Okay.
So it boils down to you making that firm decision, to go with what is right, to be disciplined.
Okay.
Yes.
But you're still saying you go with what is right, but how do I know that everybody's cheating, for instance? I shouldn't cheat as well. How do you know that this is wrong? And
that one boils down to moral and standards. Moral
standards and all that. Okay.
Somehow, I still think somewhere, sometimes we know these things.
Okay.
Sometimes you know
that it's wrong, right?
That it's wrong. Just like you growing up and nobody told you can't sleep with your mother.
Yeah.
Naturally, you should know. You understand? So there are some of these things that we know these things are wrong, but we just love to indulge in them.
Right.
You understand? And somewhere, to a large extent, we shouldn't be told what is right and what is wrong. You should just know that these things are
wrong. Okay. So, So Sick.
Yep.
Let me ask you a little tingling question. Can you help our audience to identify some areas that you'd say most Nigerian youth are not very self-disciplined in, like some things that they do that you feel, is kind of out of place?
When you see, as by young people,
yeah,
and most of us are influenced by the older people, our older generation, because that's where it starts from. That's where that is, the age where we are right now, currently, is crazy.
All right.
But, it started a while ago, you know what I'm saying? People seeing, folks embezzling funds and oppressing them and then getting away with it. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It starts from there. Then, you almost don't feel what?
No, I'm sorry to cut it short. Also, the areas where youth youth are indisciplined. When it comes to environmental sanitation, your environment.
How so? What do you mean?
Well, the government has this thing called environmental sanitation, where last Saturday of the month, you're expected to be in the house at so time to clean your neighborhood and everything. Now we are doing it not because we want to clean, but because they are forcing us to. We get arrested because we cannot go out on the streets, or the habits of drinking pure water and then throwing it outside the window. The habit of just throwing things about and not being aware of your immediate environment.
I'm sure you can also relate that to, you know, the way, like you said, the parents are and what they grow up in. But then you know, you take it that you talk about dressing as well. That's a form of self-discipline too.
You get what I'm saying? If you're
so you're saying they started with it, right?
They teach us what we know. You know what I'm saying? Okay. We learn almost everything we know from them. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I might be disciplined enough to control my own self.
Okay. But what your inference is that most times when we talk about self-discipline and a person not being disciplined or not doing this or that, we can always say that it relates back to the parents.
Somehow we can connect.
Which is that charity begins at home, perhaps.
Yeah.
All right. So, Michael Lawrence, how can the Nigerian citizen identify the areas in which he's not self-disciplined? I mean, fine, we've talked about you knowing what is right and what is wrong. We've talked about morals and all that. But right now, we've gotten to that point where we need to understand what is wrong and move forward. Now, how can we do that?
Understanding what is wrong and deciding to move forward. I think everyone has the sole responsibility, you know, to take charge of your own life. Okay. But it has come to the point where you as a Nigerian should sit down and tell yourselves, man, this, and this. How far? You know, if I continue like this, what would it result to? You understand? I don't want to end up the way some people have ended up in life. Not necessarily your parents. It could be neighbors, it could be some other people you've seen on TV. It could be just look around and personally decide, okay, I don't want to end like this. If I continue like this, I end this way. I think if I follow this particular kind of you know, icons, I can end this particular way. You understand? So it's a personal decision thing first and foremost.
People are there to look up to, you know, because really the people you look up to have, you know, they're not really like, you know, upright.
Most people
that get far are not really disciplined, you know.
You're far,
you know what I'm saying?
So how disciplined are you?
Myself, is it someone like me, like, you know, as a producer? At some point, at a point in my life, I was putting in like 20 hours a day in the studio every day. 20 hours.
Mixing and playing around.
You know, just working, developing myself. This was a time when my friends, or most of the people I knew, were going out to the clubs, you know,
having fun,
doing stuff, and basically, you know, girls, but you know, not me. Because I knew I had to get somewhere, and I knew I just 20 hours a day it made me sick. But
of course, that so sick.
But you know, that was my own personality. That was my self-discipline. I had to. It was hard, but now I overcame that urge to misbehave.
All right. So Harriet, say something about that. Let me hear you talk a little.
About?
You know, the whole concept of his idea of self-discipline now has taken it. We've gone about environment and all that. Now he's talking about even in career and developing your future.
Yeah, and also even in health. 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 There are a lot of indiscipline when it comes to health. When you see, for example, people who are overweight, who are obese, how do they eat? What do they like to eat? How do you control your weight? Like me now.
You're fat?
I see myself as fat.
Not fat, no.
Exactly.
Just many.
But I see myself as fat, so I try to do what and I know what and what not to do. Not to go larger than.
Like what? Maybe you can share. You know, we're talking about self-discipline. So
exercise every morning. Exercise every morning. Do you understand?
That's what you should
be disciplined with that exercise.
It's very difficult to stay to it. And then seeing a lot of things to eat. That is also enticing.
Like Bolly, you know.
No, it's plantain is healthy. Plantain is healthy. Burger, you see meat pie, you see.
That's for the body people now.
All right, Thelma, let's hear you speak a little.
Okay, you know, we've been talking about the environment and the parents, but I also think that the media or the information that we are exposed to also, you know, makes us, you know, indisciplined in some kind of way. I mean, I think as youths, we're old enough to, you know, look at what we should take and learn, and the others we should discard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, so some young guy sees, you know, all these gangsters in the movies sagging, and he thinks it's cool to sag. You know, we should be able to. We should be able to.
I saw one dude the other day was putting on.
You know, there's some that are really bad. You know, there's some that we should, you know, learn and.
All right, so we shouldn't take all things. Any last word from you? So sick.
It's about, you know, what you stand for personally. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, what you stand for?
I want to live forever, and I can't live forever physically.
Okay.
You know, but I want to live forever like a fella.
Okay. So that's your hold. What you believe in, and stand for it. Stand for what you believe in. I love that. All right. Harriet, let's get a last word from you.
Whatever it is you're trying to be disciplined about, you have to be disciplined to be disciplined. If you get what I mean.
No, I don't.
Like, okay, you go like, I want to be disciplined about what I eat. You have to be disciplined to keep to that particular type of discipline.
All right. So you have to be disciplined to be disciplined.
Exactly, because you can't just say it and then you just let it go like that. It takes a lot of work.
All right.
A lot of work.
Okay, Mr. Michael.
Okay, I think for me, basically, to be about this, whatever area of self-discipline you will need to get involved with. Do it not because of any other person, but simply because of yourself.
Okay.
Get into the self-discipline for you and for your future.
For your future.
Basically.
Right.
Not because anybody's telling you not to do it or to do it. Do it for yourself and for your future.
Thank you very much for coming in there.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And thank you, viewers. You've heard them. Be discretional. Choose what is right. Stand for something. They say if you don't stand for anything, you fall for anything. Now, you have to be disciplined to be disciplined. And of course, the most important part, you do it for yourself. You must exercise control. And that is the way you can attain self-discipline. You're still watching chatzoneyouth.com. There's still more coming from youth.com, the Zing segment 360. Please stay tuned because it's going to be exciting.